The Health Ministry announced on Wednesday the United Arab Emirates will conduct the final stage of its clinical trial of a COVID-19 inactivated vaccine. The UAE claims it is the first in the world to reach the final stage, referred to as Phase 3 of the clinical trial. Phase 3, which is in this case, will be done under the supervision of the Abu Dhabi Department of Health, will look into the vaccine safety and effectiveness in a large population sample. India has recorded the highest spike of 15,968 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total to 456,183, with Mumbai and New Delhi as the worst-hit cities in the country. The Health Ministry on Wednesday also reported a record 24-hour increase of 465 deaths due to COVID-19. The ministry said the recovery rate was continuing to improve at 56.38%. Maharashtra, New Delhi and Tamil Nadu states are the worst-hit states, accounting for nearly 60% of all cases in the country. Newly diagnosed cases of COVID-19 and other indicators of the pandemic's spread soared in hotspots across the US, driving city and state officials to consider slowing or reversing reopening plans. Cases are surging in Texas, Florida, Arizona and in California, which on Wednesday broke its record for new cases for the fourth day in the past week. According to data collected by Johns Hopkins University, COVID-19 cases in the US increased by 35,695 from the same time on Monday to 2.33 million. The 1.6% gain was higher than the average daily increase of 1.3% the past 7 days. Deaths rose 0.7% to 120,913. The number of people who have died from coronavirus in Latin America surpassed 100,000 on Wednesday, according to a tally of registered deaths, while Mexico announced a record one-day total for new infections. In recent weeks, Latin America has emerged as the epicenter of the pandemic, with a spike in cases and deaths, even as the tide of infection recedes elsewhere on the planet. Mexico on Wednesday registered 6,288 new infections, 793 additional deaths from the coronavirus, the Health Ministry said, bringing the totals for the country to 191,410 cases and 23,377 deaths. The Interior Ministry announced Wednesday at least 223 police officers in Peru have died after contracting the coronavirus while enforcing one of South America's longest lockdowns. Interior Minister General Gaston Rodriguez said there are 223 police dead and 15,500 infected. The death toll is 30% higher than 2 weeks ago, when the ministry announced 170 officers had died and just under 10,000 were infected. Peru is the second worst-hit country in Latin America after Brazil, with more than 257,000 cases and 9,000 deaths. According to media reports on Wednesday, a local authority in Australia requested military support from the federal government for its battle against the coronavirus. Reports said the government in Victoria Province pursued the military support to help manage its COVID-19 outbreak. One more COVID-19 patient died in Victoria on Wednesday, taking the death toll to 103 in the country. It is the first coronavirus death in more than a month reported in the country. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has said 7 fighters, including 2 Syrian soldiers, were killed in Israeli strikes Wednesday. Observatory Chief Rami Abdulrahman said 5 fighters were killed in a strike on a military center on the Sukhna Deir ez-Zur road in eastern Syria. He said many others were injured, with several in critical condition, and added 2 Air Force soldiers were killed in another raid on a telecommunications center in the southern Sweda province. Syria media also confirmed the raids. North Korea said it decided on Wednesday to suspend military action against South Korea during a virtual meeting at the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea. The state-run Korea Central News Agency reported North Korean leader Kim Jong-un presided over the meeting late Tuesday, which examined agenda items including further bolstering the war deterrent to the country. The statement comes after tensions between the two countries intensified last week due to the spread of anti-Pyongyang leaflets from across the South Korean border. North Korea last week ordered the country's military to hit and demolish the Inter-Korean Liaison Office at their mutual border. Former US President Barack Obama on Wednesday made his first campaign appearance alongside Joe Biden since endorsing him for president in April, helping raise more than $11 million for his former number two as he exhorted supporters to meet the urgency of the moment. The virtual fundraiser collected $7.6 million from 175,000 grassroots contributors. Obama and Biden also hosted a private online portion for high-dollar donors, which was not open to reporters and brought in more than $3.4 million. The Singapore Prime Minister's brother Lee Hsien Loong said on Wednesday he had joined an opposition party that is competing against his sibling at the upcoming July 10th election, but was undecided if he would stand as a candidate. Lee Hsien Loong, the son of Singapore's modern-day founder Lee Kuan Yew, who has been embroiled in a bitter dispute with his brother over his late father's house, said he had joined the newly founded Progress Singapore Party. Lee has previously criticized his brother Lee Hsien Loong's People's Action Party, which has governed the city-state since Singapore's independence in 1965. The humanitarian group Save the Children said in a report on Wednesday violence against children increased sixfold in the first 3 months of 2020 in Myanmar's conflict-ridden northwest. According to the report, 18 children were killed and 71 children were physically injured between January and March this year in Rakhine State. The humanitarian group Save the Children said in a report on Wednesday violence against children increased sixfold in the first 3 months of 2020 in Myanmar's conflict-ridden northwest. According to the report, 18 children were killed and 71 children were physically injured between January and March this year in Rakhine State. Duncan Harvey, Save the Children's top official in Myanmar, said in a statement, children are at serious risk of being killed in the ongoing conflicts between the Myanmar military and various armed groups, all while having to cope with the threat of COVID-19. A powerful earthquake centered near the southern Mexico resort of Huatulco on Wednesday killed at least 5 people, swayed buildings in Mexico City, and sent thousands fleeing into the streets. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said 1 person was killed in a building collapse in Oaxaca. The Oaxaca governor said a 2nd person was killed in an apparent house collapse in the mountain village of San Juan Ozolotepec, and a 3rd died in circumstances he did not explain. Federal Civil Defense authorities reported 2 more deaths. A worker at the state-run oil company Pemex fell to his death from a refinery structure, and a man died in another Oaxaca village when a wall fell on him. The rebound in oil prices grew on Wednesday amid fresh signs that world economies are recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Brent, the global benchmark, touched $44 a barrel at one stage in European trading, its highest level since early March, as more countries lifted lockdown restrictions. Stock markets also took heart from hopes of an end to trade confrontation between China and the US when President Donald Trump said a deal was fully intact. Orly Airport, south of Paris, is to reopen Friday after shutting down on March 31st amid the coronavirus pandemic, but with just a fraction of its normal flights. On Friday, officials expect around 8,000 passengers to pass through Orly's 4 terminals, less than 10% of the daily average of around 90,000. Increased traffic in July will depend on whether Algeria, Morocco and Tunisia reopen their borders.